right, what's up? This is the Black Podcast Show, episode number 4. Yes, we are back at it again, just like Yellow Bees and them. I know y'all are probably thinking, Chante, I didn't even expect you to be back for a 4th episode. How do you possibly have time to prepare for such an informative, such an entertaining, such an engaging podcast? How do you possibly have time to prepare for that throughout the week? You know what? I don't even want y'all to worry about all that. I just want y'all to appreciate what I'm about to give y'all today. Today is a really, really special podcast. Last week I wasn't able to make it here. My homegirl ZJ Styles held it down, my co-host. Check out last week's episode if you haven't had the opportunity to. But today, I got something real good for y'all. Now, as y'all know, this is once again the Black Podcast Show, the one and only Black podcast online, hosted by me, your girl Chante. And with the Black Podcast Show, you actually get 4 podcasts in one. You get 4 podcasts today. What I'm going to give you is a motivational podcast, a true crime podcast, an advice podcast, as well as a review and rant podcast. Now, you're probably asking yourself, how did I possibly get so lucky? How did I get so lucky? I'm not sure. You must be walking around with a rabbit foot on your neck or something like that. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it today. The motivation today, you know what? If you're doing anything, I want you to just stop what you're doing and really pay attention, because I got a question. The motivation is coming in the form of a question today. So whatever you're doing, go ahead and stop. You know what I'm saying? Tune in, share this podcast right quick, because it might be somebody else that's listening that need this life change. All right, the question is, are you worried about the wrong shit? It's simple. I'm going to ask it again, because I want you to marinate on this. Are you worried about the wrong shit? You probably are. I'm going to hit y'all with a quote. So as you kind of marinate on being worried about the wrong shit, I want you to take this quote with you throughout the week as well. Now, this quote is by Edward Everett Hale. And Edward says, "I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do." Now, personally, I love that quote. Reason being, it really puts things in perspective. Let me explain something. We can all do more. Just think about it. Think about if you got to the end of your life and, you knew you was about to die, you on your deathbed, whatever the case may be, and you know how people do. They say, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time to do X, Y, Z. I wish I had more time to spend with my family. I wish I had more time to build my career. I wish I had more time to start that business. Whatever it is, I wish I had more time. What if soon as you said that, a big screen came up and showed you a recap of your life and all the times you sat up and wasted time? How would that make you feel? What if this big screen came up and showed you all the times you laid in bed and was on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat for an hour, 2 hours? Before you knew it, it's 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? When you had things to do, though. When you had goals that haven't been met. When you had, time-sensitive deadlines to reach. Now, I'm not saying it's you. I'm not saying that you've done that. I'm not, trying to condemn nobody. I'm just saying, what if a screen showed you something like that at the end of your life when you said, I wish I had more time? I'm just asking. Or better yet, what if the screen showed you every time, you went and smoked weed at your homeboy house, at your homegirl house? You know how y'all do. And sat up and had them same conversations we all been having for the last 5, 10 years. Who's the best rapper? Who's the best R&B singer right now? Usher versus Chris Brown, or all the verses, all the Mary J. Blige versus Mariah Carey, or whatever, or Biggie versus Tupac. Who shot Pac? Is Pac still alive? What if a screen just showed you all the times that y'all sat up and had them conversations about, oh yeah, I'm about to open my barbershop next year. We gonna start our business next year. We gonna do X, Y, and Z. We gonna do our marketing thing next week. But you already had other things to do. What if a screen just showed you all them times you sat up and had them discussions while you had things to do? What if that screen showed you every time you sat up and gossiped? What if, a screen showed you every time you had things you could have been doing, ways you could have been advancing towards your goals, and instead you were sitting up talking about somebody else's business or what they doing wrong in life? And I mean, y'all gotta understand. Before I go any further, let me just say, this is not even meant. I'm not even talking to nobody else. I'm talking to myself. I'm not saying none of this from a high horse or nothing like that. I'm seriously talking to myself at the same time I'm talking to y'all. I just happen to be going live. It's bad enough to be gossiping. It's bad enough to be wasting time. It's bad enough to be, having them same conversations over and over again. That's insanity. But the fact that I had better things that I could have, what I'm saying, and should have been doing is the craziest part about all of it. You know? Um, and then, like, just when you talking about what someone else is doing wrong in their life, unless you have some way to help, unless you're willing to help, unless you are trying to figure out a way that you can extend your hand to that person, you worried about the wrong shit. Get out their business. It don't matter what they doing wrong. Get out them folks' business. I'm sure you have bigger and more important matters to tend to, since you know every fucking thing, obviously. Um, but seriously, how often do we say, 24 hours is just not enough time? How often do we say, I wish it was more hours in the day? And then, like I said, we have the nerve to waste time. How is it that there's not enough time in the day? How is it that the designated 24-hour time period is not enough, but yet there's time to waste? There's time to spare. It doesn't really make sense. Now, don't get me wrong, though, when I say waste time, I'm not talking about the times when you're winding down, after work or after a long week or day. I'm not talking about when you're relaxing after you've worked hard. Leisure time is not wasted time. And the truth is, we all need to decompress sometimes. We all need to take time to relax. It's essential for our mental, spiritual, and emotional health. What I'm talking about is when you're wasting time. And wasting time is something as simple as, thinking about the wrong shit. The whole thing, all of this is about you. When you're thinking about the wrong shit, negative thoughts, that's the wrong shit. And a lot of us have negative thoughts. I mean, I'm going to say something. And this is not even something I wrote down. I'm going to go off the cuff a little bit right quick. And I think a lot of people are going to have a problem with what I'm about to say. But I'm going to just be honest. In 2020, not just specifically 2020, but in these days and times, in this modern age, so to speak, a lot of people feel like they are depressed. A lot of people wonder if they have mental health issues. And let me just first disclaimer say I'm all for anyone who has those issues getting the help they need. Absolutely, go get it. But I also think a lot of times we cause ourselves to feel depressed and to think that we're depressed simply because we are worried about the wrong shit. Why are you thinking negative thoughts? I've had people tell me, more than one person, so too many. I've had people tell me that sometimes they get on Facebook and feel depressed because it seems like other people their age have it all figured out. It seems like, you know, their excuse me, their friends from high school got it all figured out. Oh, somebody from high school just got married and bought a house. So that makes me feel less than because, either I'm still living in an apartment or I'm living with my parents, I'm living with a family member. Whatever the case is, you feel less than because you just seen such and so and so get married and buy a house. Or, you just saw such and such start her own business. So now you feel depressed because you've been thinking about saying you was gone for the last. Before I go any further, that's the wrong shit to be thinking about. And I'm not saying that people don't truly suffer from depression. Don't get me wrong, I'm never saying that. But I'm saying that with so many people that express those feelings, it's so many people I see just talking about it on the internet on a daily basis that they're depressed, they have anxiety and things like that. Yes, there are ways to treat those things, but a lot of time people just be worried about the wrong shit, honestly. If you see somebody that you went to school with accomplishing something and it makes you feel negative on the inside, you need to figure out how you can accomplish those things as well. Or you need to just stop worrying about their business because you don't even know what people have going on behind closed doors. And this is not even to be negative, but yeah, they just got married and bought a house. He might be beating her ass all over that house. So why you sitting up jealous? When you envy what somebody have, you have to understand you might have to go through what they went through to get it. So when you want something, you gotta just focus on what you want and go from there. And stop worrying about the wrong shit. So, hopefully it's somebody that needed to hear that tonight. It's somebody that's still worried about the wrong shit, but it's somebody that heard that's hearing this right now and realizing I have been worried about the wrong shit. And like I said, negativity, it could even be something as simple as, like I said, we all want to do stuff. So, you could be, oh, I want to write a book. Oh man, when am I gonna have time to write a book? I know don't nobody even want to hear what I got to say. I don't know how to write no book. I don't know how to make things interesting. I don't know how to. You thinking about all that when you could just sit down and start writing? You worried about the wrong shit. Or you might say, oh, I want to start a clothing line. Remember you said you wanted to start that clothing line, but then you started worrying about the wrong shit. Then you started thinking about, well, damn, you know, it's already Levi's out here. It's already Polo out here. You know, it's already, you know, whoever else, Tommy Hilfiger out here, which is crazy. Because do you think Tommy Hilfiger was worried about Ralph Lauren when he started his company? He probably was because they make similar type of clothing, but obviously he still did it. Do you think Fruit of the Loom was worried about Hanes when they started making t-shirts and drawers? Probably was, but they still did it. The point is, stop worrying about the wrong shit. I notice a lot of times the reason we feel away be because of other people. Stop worrying about other people. And once again, let me just first state, I'm not nobody's mental health therapist or none of that. When it comes to mental health, I would love to have somebody on the show that could talk about that. But this is just me personally. This is just things I've observed, things I've heard, and things I've gone through personally. I felt feelings of depression. But for me, I know, honestly, this is me being honest, it's people going through things that's way worse than what I'm going through. So I can't dare feel depressed because it's somebody that's in a really fucked up situation. Sure, I can feel sad for a little while. Sure, I might feel defeated for a hot second, but it's somebody that would step into my shoes and take off running and win because this would feel like being a millionaire to them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, basically, what I just want to say is ask yourself, are you worried about the wrong shit? And if you find that you are worried about the wrong shit, I would like for you to immediately stop worrying about the wrong shit. Now, if that don't change your life, then you don't want your life to be changed. I don't know what else to tell you. Now, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is check my live, see if anybody's watching, see if I got any company. I don't know if anybody cared enough to tune in with me. But let's see if I got any comments. 6 comments. Okay, y'all can probably hear that. Let me turn this down. All right, what's up? Loverama. So this is a young lady that sell oils. Y'all get in tune with her, tap in with her black-owned business. Jamal, what's up, my homeboy from high school. Markel, hey Kel, my little cousin. Nick, what up, boss? Now my boy Nick Lyles got a podcast coming soon too, y'all. So y'all make sure y'all check him out. He gonna be, I don't know what he gonna be talking about, but I know it's gonna be good. I love you too, Markel. Oh, that's sweet. That is sweet to have your family tuned in watching you. All right, now like I told y'all before, I don't know how to see exactly who's watching, but if you're watching, just get on here, say what's up, say hey. I'm gonna keep on talking. I'm gonna shout y'all out as I go along. Now the next subject, I really hope a lot of people get to check this out. I really hope a lot of people get to hear this because this is something that I think is super important, especially now that we're finally in a place as a society where people are starting to value women's opinions more, starting to value the things that women go through, women's experiences, and especially the plights of minority women, black women, women that may not have access to all the resources and healthcare that people that with money have. So what I'm gonna be talking about now in the true crime segment, this is the Black True Crime Podcast. Now, as y'all know, once again, let me just give y'all the rundown for any new listeners right this very second. This is the Black Podcast Show, the only black podcast online, hosted by me, your girl Chante, as of right now, exclusively available on Facebook. But this is a 4-part podcast. On this one podcast, you get 4 shows. I just did the Black Motivation Show. If you didn't catch that, you need to go back and listen to it right quick. Rewind this. I'm going to be here for another 30 minutes or so. Rewind this and listen to that because you might be worried about the wrong shit and not even know it. This is the Black True Crime Podcast, hosted by me, Chante, and what I'm going to be talking about today is the Dalkon Shield. Now, this story is really crazy. It's actually really sad and unfortunate, and it's the story of how a few powerful men got away with mass murder, and what some might consider genocide. Now, what I'm talking about is the Dalkon Shield. Once again, if you're around my age, you may not have ever heard of this. But if you're a little bit older, you may remember seeing some commercials in regard to a recall, in regard to financial compensation. A lot of women sued this company. Now, if you're even older than that, then you may have some more personal experience with this form of birth control. But let me just state, the Dalkon Shield was an IUD. It's no longer on the market, thank God. You'll see why. The Dalkon Shield was an IUD, or intrauterine contraceptive device, in layman's terms, birth control. But it's not a pill or anything like that. It's actually an implant that they put inside a woman's uterus, meant for long-term implantation. Now, what you're seeing here on the screen behind me, or on the screen period, is pretty much what they use to insert the Dalkon Shield inside of women. I'm not really sure I don't think they meant for women to insert them on their own. No, a lot of physicians actually said that the process in which they inserted these Dalkon Shields was very dehumanizing. Now, I want you to stay on this slide for just a second, Llama. Now, if you can see this slide right now, I hope everybody can. This is what the Dalkon shell looked like. Now, for any gentlemen that might be tuned in, I know you might think this is kind of gross. This might not be something you comfortable listening to, but just stay tuned in. Listen to this because I'm sure you got women in your family. I'm sure you got sisters, cousins, aunties, mamas, and encourage these women to seek out information about what they're putting in their body. And if they come out with some kind of male birth control, then you need to understand that they will sell you something that's not safe. Can you put that back on the screen real quick, Llama? Okay, so what y'all are seeing is the actual birth control inside of a uterus, and that little string hanging down is a key part to all of this. Basically, that little string was meant for quote unquote optimal removal. This was made in the late 1960s. Okay, you can take that down. So just keep in mind that is a piece of string hanging out of a woman's uterus. If that sounds kind of weird to you, kind of unsanitary, then you're smarter than a fifth grader, I guess, because that's the same thing I thought, and quite a few people thought it, but unfortunately not enough. So this guy, this fucking scumbag, in my opinion, Hugh Davis and his partners created this IUD in the late 1960s. And when he created it, like I said, and like you saw, he made it a little circular shape with a little string hanging down for quote unquote optimal removal. He ends up taking it to market. After about a year, he teams up with 3 other guys in the medical field, and they form the Dalkon Corporation, and they named the IUD that I was referencing the Dalkon Shield. Now, as y'all know from watching old movies and TV shows, people in the 60s and 70s were stupid. They just were. Call it ignorance, whatever you want to call it, they were stupid. These are the same people who used to sleep with their doors unlocked and everything. They didn't know no better. Unfortunately, the government back then, because they were stupid, didn't have strict regulations on medical devices. They did have strict regulations on medications, but not on medical devices. And when I say medical devices, I mean contact lenses. You know, the IUD devices, obviously. Dentures, and even pacemakers. So, when I say they didn't have strict regulations, I mean that people were able to send products straight to market following production. And no, there was no kind of quality control. There was no kind of approval process. It's just like if I was making plates at the crib and putting it on Facebook selling it. Like how people be doing braces now online. It's obviously dangerous. But people back then, unfortunately, they didn't even know. People back then, and I'm not going to say they stupid for this. They just were misinformed, but they were foolish enough to trust the government. They thought that there's no way the government would allow these products to be sold in doctors' offices, you know, by doctors and, you know, things like that, if it wasn't safe, if it hadn't been tested, if it didn't meet some kind of standard. But now we know not to trust the government. Most of us know that. Anyway, back in 1970, a company named A.H. Robbins actually purchased the Dalkon Shield from the Dalkon Corporation for about $750,000, plus 10% of all sales in the U.S. and Canada. So you got to understand, these 4 guys just made off like fat rats with the cheese. They just got to split $750,000, and they're going to continue to get residual income as they receive 10% of all sales. So that's perfect for them. Now, a few weeks after this sale, coincidentally, that inventor I told y'all about, the one that created the Dalkon Shield, Hugh Davis, would end up testifying in a case involving birth control. So basically, back then they were trying to say that the pill was unsafe. So they had him come in and testify in this case, and Hugh ended up testifying that while he had no financial interest in IUDs, they were a much better and safer birth control method than pills. Now, obviously, he's the inventor and seller of this Dalkon Shield, so he lied about not having financial interest. And you'd be surprised how often people lie when they have the potential to make a ton of money. So come 1971, they start heavily promoting this device. You know what? I need to actually stop. I needed to cite my sources. So before I get too deep, I don't want y'all to think that I just sat up and did all this extensive research. No, I listened to a few podcasts, read a couple articles, yes, but most of my research came from Crime Junkie podcast and Swindled podcast. Um, really good podcast, and another one called Choiceless. So y'all, if y'all want better information, if y'all want more detailed information, please go listen to that information. Type Dalkon Shield in Google, and get all the information you want. What I'm giving y'all is pretty much just the short version of a very long, tragic story. So once again, Crime Junkie, Swindled, and Choiceless. Check those podcasts out. Check out Google, find articles. Oh yeah, and the New York Times has some good articles as well. It's a lot of information about this online, but I didn't know about it until not too long ago. So anyways, 1971, they start heavily marketing and promoting this IUD. They make these magazine articles, marketing articles, stating that this is basically the best birth control. It's not only safer, it's not only more effective than the pill, but it's for every type of woman. And I believe I have some pictures for this as well, for those articles that show how they pretty much manipulated women. So I think that, to me, the biggest one is that they said this is for the disorganized woman. So a lot of people aren't able to keep track with taking a pill on an everyday basis. So a lot of women might feel like, okay, that's me, I'm disorganized. Basically what they were stating was that modern women who hate pills, and women who are disorganized, have a hard time of keeping track of a daily pill, this is for all y'all. And I mean, who doesn't want to be considered a modern woman? What woman doesn't want to feel as though she's taking the best high quality modern medicine? I'm assuming all women probably want to feel that way. So, like I said, apparently a lot of women related to that. Apparently a lot of women thought it was important to have the most modern, or seemingly most effective, as well as most convenient. So go figure. That marketing strategy was extremely effective. So between 1971 1974, they actually sold over 2.2 million units just in the United States alone. 2.2 million units. So y'all got to understand, 2.2 million people doesn't seem like that much in the scheme of it being billions of people here, but if it's one of your family members, that's a lot. And I mean, 2.2 million, that's a lot, period. I don't even care about it being billions of people. 2.2 million women had this device installed inside of their uterus. Now, let me explain something. And they also sold 1.7 million overseas. Now, let me explain something. It cost this company, A.H. Robbins, 35 cents, around about 35 cents to make this product, the Shield. They were selling them for over $4, for $4 or more to these physicians. And then the doctors turn around and sell them to the customers for about $12. So that's an insane markup. And they are making crazy money off this thing. Like I said, they make it, produce it for 35 cents, sell it for $4, and then the doctor sell it to the customer for $12. They making bank, like dead ass. Now, when they originally marketed this Dalkon Shield, they actually boasted a 1.1% pregnancy rate, which is pretty great. I mean, if condoms said 99% effective, they will be perfect. Pretty much, 99%, that's just about perfect. But that actually turned out to be bullshit. Now, even after other physicians in different places came forward and let people know, let the doctors, let the company know, hey, the rate is actually more like 5.5 to 10%. They literally ignored them and continued producing and promoting and selling this product. And actually, later on, we find out that 6 months prior to even launching, doctors from the company, so the company hired doctors, and these doctors brought up their own concerns. Now that picture I showed y'all earlier where that little string was hanging out, that's what those doctors were very concerned about. What they were concerned was that it could pose a threat because bacteria from outside of the vagina could get inside the uterus by crawling up that little string, which sounds really gross. Now, doctors told the company this, told these four guys this in a memo, and they ignored them. Now, even in the production plant, which was actually a chapstick factory, crazy thing, even at the production plant, a freaking quality control inspector expressed the same exact concern, said the same thing, like, hey, this little string that hangs down seems like it should be, wrapped in some kind of coating or protected somehow because it seems like bacteria could get inside of it. Now, you have to understand, your shoelaces have protection around it. I'm looking at mine right now. Y'all can't see it, but your shoelaces have protection around it so that they don't get frazzled, so they don't get dirty, etc., etc., etc. They didn't want to put any kind of protection around this string because what this gentleman was told was that it could make sex uncomfortable for men if they knew that the woman had an IUD. And some guys had already expressed discomfort having sex with women once they knew they had an IUD. So if they put some kind of protection around this string that's hanging down out of this woman's uterus, then guys might not want to have sex. I'm all for sexual liberation. I want everybody to enjoy having sex, but how fucked up is that they declined protection for these women because it might make men uncomfortable while they having sex. My thing is this, and I hate to be too crass, but why in the fuck would you be uncomfortable knowing that she's not going to get pregnant? If anything, that should make you more comfortable, I would think. Oh, you got some birth control on? Perfect. Bet. I don't know how guys think. If there's any guys watching, please chime in and tell me, wouldn't you be happy if you knew? Wouldn't you be more comfortable if you knew a woman had a birth control device directly inside of her uterus? Like, that's better than the pill, because the pill, you gotta swallow it, gotta go through the stomach, all type of shit. That birth control that's in her uterus, that's stopping everything right at the source. Ain't nothing getting past that. But their decision was, no. That was it. No. At one point, that quality control gentleman, his supervisor actually told him, you don't get paid to have a moral compass. So that kind of I really wanted to tell this story because y'all have to understand, we all think, oh, the government wouldn't allow this to happen, oh, my doctor wouldn't allow this to happen, and they would. Like, they really fucking would. When it comes to money, anybody will let anything happen. I mean, maybe not somebody that actually care about you, but, the government let this go on. People's doctors let this go on. It's actually a lady who told her story, a black lady by the name of Loretta Ross. I meant to have her picture up here, but I didn't get a chance. But look into this lady. She's actually an activist now for reproductive rights. What happened to her was she, got pregnant involuntarily at the age of 16. Despite her getting pregnant, she still went to Howard University early at the age of 16. And, of course, being in college, away from home, a lot of us know how that go. When you go to college, for anybody that don't have that experience, when you go to college, get away from home, get away from your parents, especially when you a teenager, you gonna wild out. Like, you definitely gonna do you. That's for sure. So, Loretta, my little homegirl, she away from her parents. Yeah, she got a baby already, but that was involuntary. She finally get the chance to get her little boyfriend. Y'all know how that shit go. And, they get to getting it in. Homegirl get pregnant again. She said they had sex like 3 times. She gets pregnant again. Now, fortunately, this time, she was able to, and I say fortunately because this is what she wanted to do, she was able to get an abortion. The gentleman, her boyfriend, had the money. He wanted to go ahead and pay for it. They was both like, look, we too young. Now, her mama, she told her mama about it. Mom was like, shit, nope. Her mama was Christian, devout Christian. Mama like, you need to drop out of school, come on home, raise your kids. That school shit that's done with all your dreams and shit, flush that down the toilet. Because, mama old school. By the time she was 16, she already had 2 kids. but she was married. But Loretta, she ain't know none of that. So what Loretta was able to do was call her big sister, who was like 9 years older than her. Big sister eventually went ahead, forged the signature for her. Loretta gets the abortion. And her doctor then tells her, you need to go ahead and get some birth control. So that's when they tell her about the IUD. So she go ahead and let them put that inside of her. Next thing you know, she's feeling pain, like just very intense pain in her pelvic region, and like just feeling tired all the time. Just it's a lot going on. She's always in pain, and she's always lethargic. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. We're not even gonna dwell on that. She was always tired. So, anyways, Loretta steady going to the doctor. She's steady trying to figure out what's going on with her. Unfortunately, the doctor is racist and sexist and judging her because she's poor and already got a kid. So the doctor steady treating her for a fucking STD. Loretta didn't have no STD. He's telling her, you have a rare form of STD that's brought back by soldiers that was overseas in the war. Loretta studies telling him, I don't know no fucking soldier, so how am I getting an STD from a soldier when I haven't fucked no soldier, basically? So finally, her boyfriend at that time is like, look, sweetheart, I don't know what's going on with that doctor, but it's something that's not right. Like, you don't got no STD. It's something that's not right. So she happened to have a friend who was a doctor. So back then, you was able to get your medical records. So she get her medical records, take it to her homeboy. He looking over it. He like, no, Loretta, the first thing bro should have did was took that IUD shit out. So, long story short, soon as he took the IUD out, well, no, hold on. Loretta wasn't even lucky enough. She wanted to get it taken out. She did get it taken out, and she started feeling better instantly. But then what happened was she ended up passing out. She didn't even know she got pelvic infectious disease. She ended up passing out at home. Luckily, her boyfriend was there with her. He called the ambulance. They go to the hospital. They fucking perform a hysterectomy on her. Like, no questions asked. And then when she wake up, the doctor was like, oh, you lucky I saved your life. We did a hysterectomy. Unfortunately, you can't have no kids no more. Good thing you already got kids. But, lucky for you, I saved your life. So Loretta kind of like, okay, bet. She's still not even realizing all this shit that's been going on. So she like, okay, cool. So then her homeboy again is like, Loretta, this shit is not right. This shit is not right. So, long story short, eventually Loretta, was able to press charges. She sued these people and she got a little payout. Her lawyer actually turned out to be racist as well, so he forced her to settle a little bit too early, so she didn't get the big payout that a lot of people got. But I just tell that story. I want y'all to look into that and find the information about it. This was on a podcast, like I said, called Choiceless. Loretta was actually on there telling her story. It's very, very, very powerful. If you got about 30 minutes, I highly advise you to go check that out and listen to Loretta tell her story about how they gave her a full, total hysterectomy without her consent while she was asleep, and the doctor made it seem like he saved her life after he lied to her about having an STD and put this freaking device in her that caused pelvic infectious disease. Now, basically, once again, to make a long, horrible story short, all those concerns that these people had, that these doctors and these quality control inspectors had, came to fruition. A lot of women suffered reproductive damage. A lot of women had pelvic infections. A lot of women ended up becoming sterile, so they couldn't have any children ever. And unfortunately, about 18 women in the United States actually died from this IUD. So, of course, a lot of lawsuits came from all this, and unfortunately, it was so many women. The company, A.H. Robbins, went bankrupt, and most women only got like less than $1,000. So just imagine having long-term, lifelong damage done to your reproductive system. You can never have kids, and not only that, but your body is never going to be the same. And what you got to cope with that for the rest of your life was $800, $900. Just because these people chose not to give you the information that they know you're entitled to. You look into all that before you take any birth control. Look into all that. Now, fortunately for me, my preferred method of birth control is just being gay. So I'm good. But for y'all, seriously, for y'all that's on birth control, that's having sex and everything like that, look into that. If you're a gentleman, look into that with your girlfriend. Learn more about it. She might not even want you to look into it, but just learn more about it on your own. I personally think it's important because if it wouldn't have been, honestly, and I don't say this to just get this guy too much credit, but if it wouldn't have been for her boyfriend saying, hold on, Loretta, something is not right. Like, this guy is steady treating you for a STD. Now, Loretta was young. They was both young, but you got to think she ain't nothing but maybe 18, 19 at this point. This guy steady treating her for an IUD. If her boyfriend wouldn't have told her, look, something's not right, get your doctor records. And if she wouldn't have, had this other doctor say he should have been took that birth control out of you. So fellas, you look into this stuff. Ladies, please, please, please know what you put in your body. Don't assume that the government and your doctor just have your best interest at heart. I'm not saying that your doctor doesn't. You might have that close personal relationship with your doctor that that he or she does, but the government may not. So just look into all that information. Fortunately, now in 2020, it's a lot different. There is a lot of information that's given to you guys. I know a lot of people have told me that they sat down with their doctors and everything like that. So it's different now, but just make sure that you are privy to that information. Okay. So that was the Black True Crime Show. I'm going to take a quick little minute, two, right quick. Check the comments. See if anybody tuned in with me. See what y'all talking about. Okay, I might need to share this in a couple of groups or something. I popped in late. Okay, what's up, Tawana? My homegirl Tawana, one of my co-workers, said she popped in late. Oh, I can't wait to get into this next topic. I really can't. My homegirl Princess is on here. What's up, Princess? Let me see who else is on here. Okay, like I said, I really don't know how to see who all on here, but I'm going to go ahead and share this before I get into this next topic. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and get into in just a second is the Black Advice Show. And I got a real crazy letter on here from Reddit. Now, I don't know if y'all have ever been on the website Reddit. If you haven't, you definitely need to get on there. You definitely need to check out Reddit because they have some crazy stories on there, some funny stories on there, just a lot of different stuff on there that's worth watching or worth reading. I like the Am I the Asshole post. So anyway, as y'all know, if you've been tuned in with me this whole time, if you have been tuned in with me these last 4 weeks, this is the Black Podcast Show. Now, this is the only Black podcast online hosted by me, your girl Chante. And I'm actually filming this at the Black-owned Irie Place studio in Plano, Texas. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, definitely hit me up or hit up the Irie Place. Inbox me. I'll get you in contact with them. Or just watch till the end. I'm sure he going to have a little commercial or something like that on here for you. So just stay in tune. And we gonna hook you up with the plug on getting your podcast started. All right. So the Reddit question I have today, I'm gonna just go through this really quick. Okay, give me 1 second. It's not gonna be that quick because I gotta pull it up. All right. So this question is from the Am I the Asshole Reddit section. This lady says, am I the asshole for not forgiving my husband, a 26-year-old male, for a mistake and not trusting him with our child? All right. This lady says, I am a 24-year-old female. I gave birth to my daughter 6 months ago, and it should have been the happiest moment in my life. When my daughter was born, her skin was very dark and looked like she could have had 2 biological parents who were of African descent. My husband, Jim, was furious. He accused me of cheating and left right then and there. He told everyone on both sides of the family what happened. He made posts on social media, and he wanted a divorce. His family and a lot of our friends all called to say how upset they were at me and called me really nasty names. My mother was by my side the entire time, and I kept professing my innocence. Jim refused to pick me up from the hospital, threw my stuff on the lawn, and changed the locks, so I had to stay with my parents. When my sister called to ask for the baby stuff, Jim texted me pictures of the bare nursery room and said he got rid of everything. He even destroyed my art studio. I like to paint, and the art I made, he told me would be too awful to sell. I was distraught and tried to focus on my baby. Weeks went by, and Jim refused to speak to me directly and has never once asked about our child. Eventually, he agreed to do a paternity test, and he was 100% the father. No one could believe the results, and it was done again. Jim's the dad. Around that same time, one of Jim's cousins did the ancestry thing, and there was around a 30% chance. There was around 30% of African ancestry in their family. This combined with the test, Jim's paternal great-grandmother admitted to having an affair around the time Jim's grandfather was born, and because he could pass, she just assumed her husband was the father. Since then, Jim has been reaching out, and everyone has came to apologize. While it did feel good to feel vindicated, the damage has been done. I can't unhear or unsee all the horrible things that was done and said. Not just to me, but to my child. Jim made very racist remarks. Things that I thought he would never say, and he did it so easily. Regardless of what our daughter looks like, I don't want her to be around that. What else will Jim and his family say or do the next time they get mad? How are they going to treat our daughter when she does something that upsets them? Jim has been begging for forgiveness. I said I needed time. He said he needed to see the baby, and I let him, but I'm too afraid to physically hand her to him. He's repairing the nursery, and he keeps asking me what I would like, and I just cry every time, saying we already had what I liked, and some of those items we had can't be replaced. He asked me if I still loved him, and I admitted that he showed me his worst self, and I don't know if I can live with that image. I didn't mean to be hurtful, but that's how I feel. My sister suggested couples therapy, but I don't feel like I should have to work on something that I didn't break. I've never cheated, and I have been 100% innocent in all this the whole time. Am I the asshole for not wanting to give Jim a second chance? Now, that is some crazy ass shit, first and foremost. Um, Now, I know some of y'all might be confused, wondering what race she is. There is an update. I'm not going to read all that because a whole bunch of extra shit. But she is, the wife is mixed as well. So she's black and at least at least got some white in her as well. And Jim is totally white, or so he thought. So, my advice to this young lady is no. Fuck all that. You ain't got time for that. Like, this nigga sounds racist. He sounds abusive. He sounds like one of the worst people on the planet Earth, if I can be honest. And I've met a lot of people. He sounds like the worst. He sounds like a real tool. He sounds like somebody that would, eat off your plate when you turn your back or when you go to the restroom, and you just can't trust people like that. He seems like the type of person that'll, like, steal some shit and then help you look for it. Because who just turned out to be racist out of nowhere? Instead of you just getting a DNA test when the baby was born and seeing what the hell was going on, you leave the hospital. Leave your fiance or your wife, I can't remember what it said, fiance, at the hospital. Go home, tear up the nursery with everything that y'all have purchased or accumulated, been gifted from other people. You tear all that up. You sell it, you give it away, whatever the case is, you ruin your daughter's room. And then you and your family make racist remarks toward this woman that you've been quote unquote in love with, this woman of color, obviously, that you've been quote unquote in love with. No, see, that's the type of motherfucker. That's the type of nigga that give white people a bad name. I don't know. That's the equivalent, the white man equivalent of Karen. That's a Jim. So Jim, that's the type of nigga that'll kill you in your sleep. So Sheila, I ain't gonna call you Sheila. I need a good fake name for this kind mixed lady. Keisha. Keisha, you get the fuck away from Jim. You need to get the fuck away from him. ASAP Rocky. Now, as far as y'all daughter go, obviously I'm not gonna encourage nobody to keep their kids away from their parent, but this motherfucker sounds like a psycho and he's clearly racist. So, with that being said, I don't know how to tell you to handle that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all need some kind of mediator. Maybe he can have supervised visit. I don't know exactly how that would go because, just like she said in the letter, when they get mad at the daughter, then what? When she make a decision, when she get older and she make a decision they don't like, then what? Y'all gonna call her a kinky headed nigger bitch or some shit like that? So no, this guy Jim sounds like a fucking asshole. He sounds like the type of nigga to call police on a little kid selling lemonade on the street. So I don't have time for Jim. He sounds like an awful person. And Keisha, I'm sure that you can do much, much better. Now, what we about to get into right now, I'm just gonna jump right into it. Let me see what time it is. Okay, I'm gonna jump right into it. This Tory Lanez and Meg the Stallion situation. I'm gonna talk about Tory Lanez album. I know for sure I got a picture of Tory Lanez album. Okay, we're gonna talk about DAYSTAR. Now this is Tory Lanez's new album. Now for anybody that's been under a rock with Patrick Star in Bikini Bottom or something like that, let me explain something to you. Tory Lanez and Meg the Stallion, they was quarantine booze. This whole quarantine, they was booed up. As y'all know, all quarantine, we saw Meg twerking, we saw Tory doing quarantine radio, and then we saw both of them on each other's Instagrams kicking it. We all thought, okay, they just cool, they just friends. For some reason, I guess because Meg tall and Tory short, we didn't think nothing of it. We just thinking they kicking it. Next thing we know, we come to find out Meg then got shot. We don't know what the fuck happened. I remember this like it was yesterday. I don't even know these folks, but it's been so much on my Facebook. I feel like I just remember the shit. We was watching Instagram and Tory and Meg was at Kylie Jenner's house. I remember it because I was thinking, okay, Meg just got inducted in the Illuminati because what the hell she doing over Kylie Jenner's house? You know what I'm saying? I just don't see what Meg the Stallion from Houston, you know what I'm saying, got in common with Kylie Jenner, plastic from the hills. Nothing against Kylie. She just doing what she know, but I just was confused. I figured, okay, Meg is in the Illuminati now. I don't know exactly how it worked, but I assume she in that hell now. So I remember they was up on Instagram and people was talking about that up on the Shade Room, and then Meg ended up getting shot. I still don't know what happened. None of us still know what happened. What we do know is that at first they said she had glass in her foot. So we thinking, okay, she got glass in her foot. We don't really know what happened. We know Tory got arrested, but whatever. Next thing you know, she come out and makes a long statement and says, I did get shot in my foot. Somebody shot me, with malicious intent, with the intention to harm me. So then that's when we get to thinking, okay, it was Tory. That's when the whole world, the whole black internet community as a whole started being like, okay, boom. Damn, Megan and Tory have been kicking it real tough this whole quarantine. So they must have been, getting it in type shit. So, boom, Megan and Tory getting it in. We realized that. Next thing you know, Megan gets shot. So we thinking, okay, Tory 5'3", Megan 6'2". They get to arguing. You know what I'm saying? Megan talking shit. She all up in this nigga face. You know how Houston come out. She, hoe ass nigga. Da-da-da-da-da. Tory pull out the app and start dumping on her. He don't want to get his ass whooped by a female, which is definitely probably what would have happened and potentially was happening. Once again, I personally was not there. I ain't seen no footage. This is my speculation at that time. You know what I'm saying? Meg went off on him. Like I said, pulled the app out. Start dumping on her. Not cool, but that's probably what happened. Then Megan come out and blatantly say, Tory shot me. So I'm like, okay, mind you, this whole time, Tory ain't said shit. He ain't posted nothing on Instagram, Twitter, none of that. I don't know if he got a Facebook. I ain't checked it. But he ain't post nothing. So then the other day, he come out and he like, okay, y'all, I got time. I'm finna make a statement. This 2 months later. Megan done been made plenty statements. She done got to deal with Fashion Nova. She done got to deal with Fenty. She done went on a motherfucking twerk tour. She done basically healed at this point. And Tory like, all right, boom, I got something to say. Put out an album. Now, at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I really want to hear it. We need to protect black women and shit. This nigga done shot her. I ain't about to contribute to no stream. Then, me being the person that I am, I said to myself, I have to hear his side of the story. Because when it's a situation like this, when it's two people involved, it's always three sides to that story. It's his side, it's her side, and then it's the truth. The truth is somewhere in the middle. That's a fact. So, on Tory's album, he blatantly states multiple times that he did not shoot Megan. He don't hit women. All this type of stuff. Now, just because he said he didn't do it, does that mean he didn't do it? No. But I don't think that... One thing that he did point out, he said, I'm out on bail. I didn't get charged with assault. And I mean, he didn't. He got charged with having, a weapon, I believe, as a felon. So you got to understand he didn't get charged with shooting her. And then another thing he said on there, and I don't know what this is alluding to, but he said, Megan ain't going to tell the truth because if she do, she know I'd be at the hotel with my feet kicked up. So what that says to me is, if Megan tell what really happened, he not going to go to jail. Now, once again, I don't know what really happened. It's a few lines on the album. Now, sonically, just the way it sounds, it's a good-ass album. I ain't even gonna lie. My favorite song on there is Queen and Slim. Now, what I will say, a lot of people say, is that he gaslighting her on the album. What I'm gonna say is, if this is manipulation, I could see it. Because a lot of the songs allude to him still loving her. He still want to get back together with her. And my thing is, somebody accuse me, somebody try to ruin my life, ruin my career. I'm not getting back together with you, bitch. Fuck you. That's how I would feel. Ain't none of that lovey-dovey shit no more. I don't fuck with you. So to me, that's him trying to talk directly to her and potentially manipulate the situation. But at the same time, when the shit happened, Meg said she didn't tell the police what happened because she was trying to protect him because they been killing black men. Now, I'm not saying that she should want to see this man dead because she shot her, but what I am saying is, if a motherfucker just shot you, I doubt the last thing on your mind is trying to protect them. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you Mother Teresa. If a person just shot you, your mind is not focused on protecting that person. Your mind is going to instantly go into self-protection mode. Your mind is going to go into defense. I mean, I can't speak for nobody else, but I'm just saying that don't sit right with me. So they both, to me, moving funny. Now, Megan has been making all these statements to Instagram. And if justice was what she wanted, I felt like she would have just been talking to the police more or cooperated with the police. Because what are you telling us for? Now, I'm talking about this, yes, because it's a hot thing to talk about. It's popular in the culture that I'm in, but it's nothing that Instagram and social media is going to do to assist you in getting justice. The police, the people that you supposedly lied to, would have done that. So, I think Megan was moving funny. Tory ain't saying nothing for 2 months. That's kind of moving funny, but at the same time, I can't say that's moving funny because obviously he spoke with the police. He had to deal with the police directly. So, I don't know. I know that the police are contemplating pressing charges against him for her shooting. Now, we're going to have to just stay tuned. We're going to have to let the police do their job on this one. I genuinely hope that whatever happened, justice is reached. What I'm going to say is, I know domestic violence is real. The thing is that we just all found out they was even fucking around, so we really don't know the extent of what their relationship was. He said they was close friends, so we just got to watch this one. We got to let justice work its thing. At the same time, we want to protect black women, but we also got to protect black men as well from, whether it's a false accusation. I'm not saying it is, but whether it's that or whether it's from the justice system from being railroaded, just protect black people, protect good energy, and we just gonna pray and hope for the truth to come out in this matter with them. I don't pick sides. I can't even say whether it's Megan versus Tory because I wasn't there. What I do respect is facts. So y'all, that's the end of the show today. This is the Black Podcast Show. Once again, this is the only Black podcast online hosted by me, your girl Chante. If it's any millionaires watching, go ahead and hit my inbox. I need you to invest $1 million in me. So I don't even got time to discuss all that on the show. I got a plan. Just hit me up. I'm going to get your M right back to you. Y'all, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Make sure you tune in next Monday. I got some juicy stuff for y'all. It's the Black Podcast Show. Thank you.